Okay, now we can. Now I got it. Okay, so
Yeah.
here's how this.
No, that's awesome though.
I started cooking this chicken noodle soup for my older
Okay.
clients,
Okay.
and then I was like, okay, I'll repost other people's things, and
Hmm.
then I was like, I really like this, and to get good on video, I started doing TikTok Shop, so I have all this. I get free cooking stuff all the time now. And then it kind of, I met a guy over the internet, not on a dating app. He's a young kid,
Yeah.
he's a branding expert. And I said, what do you
Okay.
think about me doing a cooking course and also, having my insurance practice? And he said, well, that's a really good idea. Because he said,
Yeah.
you were a yoga teacher, and I practiced
Mhm.
today because it was so stressful with all the calls coming in. I went at noon.
Uh-huh.
But he said it all ties in. If you think about it, this is like state of the art branding because
Yeah.
you're going to get into doctors' offices by cooking them food. Like tomorrow, I'm cooking for two offices a salmon dish in the slow cooker.
Okay.
I
Okay.
do a lot in the slow cooker for people, or I bake stuff. But it it
Awesome.
it came down to a science. And when I saw you teaching, I was like, oh, I want to interview this guy because the importance of nutrition. I have ADHD, but most
Uh-huh.
people, they don't, and I take it for granted. They don't
Uh-huh.
understand that you're not supposed to eat packaged food and
Uh-huh.
all that stuff. And a lot of my
Yeah.
older people there were like, I wish I would have taken care of myself sooner.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's super cool. Yeah. I I would say my more of my expertise is more in like in nervous system stuff, but it
Mhm.
ties in like so well. And it's amazing once I just started eating whole foods. Like it's
Mhm.
such a concept, but it's like, oh, maybe just eat real food and then noticing how much better you feel after that. And it's funny because I actually just got back from Italy. I was in Italy for like 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And to see the differences in like their lifestyle and then how food ties into that is super
Mhm.
interesting. So like you're walking by pasta shops and you're seeing them like fold the pasta for that night, that same day. And they're
Mhm.
making it fresh. And it's like, just super simple, but in that simplicity is like where the magic happens. There's not a bunch of, additives and stuff like that. And so
Mhm.
um you were eating all of the pasta and all of the bread and all of the gelato, but you still felt completely fine afterward.
Because it's
And
it's not processed.
yeah, yeah, I mean, I felt a difference for sure. But then also at the same time, it's like you're doing a lot of other things that
Hmm.
are integrated into European life that aren't necessarily integrated into American life that really help your just your whole state of being, whether it's your
Yeah.
nervous system or your digestive system or whatever. So
Mhm.
you're outside a lot, like you're getting sunlight, you're getting like natural light. You're walking, like
Mhm.
20,000 steps a day just around the city. All the cities are so walkable.
Mhm.
And also too, I think a big part of it is like how how people centric people were over there. And you're hanging out with friends, you're walking to go meet friends, you're talking. What I noticed over there too is like when a group of friends was like sitting down at a table, they're not on their phones. Like they're
Yeah.
actually talking to each other. And so I think all of that together, it creates this like holistic, more like lifestyle integrated into everyday life out there that
Mhm.
supports health. So it's like, yeah, for sure, it's the nutrition piece, but then I think it's like all these other pieces as well. Like the water was really great over there. It's like it comes from the Dolomites and it's like this natural spring water,
Mhm.
it like with all these minerals in it. And so I think it's like the nutrition part, it's the walking part, but it's
Mhm.
like everything in together. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, no, and I've been to Europe and I noticed that. And I've actually been to South Africa. I have relatives there.
Mm,
Um, they eat a lot fresher. And you know what I
hmm
noticed over there? And I have
hmm
a daughter who's in her 20s. I noticed the kids are a lot better mannered over in Europe
Oh,
and other.
yeah.
And I think that we in America have kind of let this 25-year-old generation
hmm
become entitled a little bit. And
hmm
I think that, it's easier. The guy that helped me brand, he
hmm
said I was in college, I was going the wrong direction. I was eating packaged food, playing video games,
Yeah.
and then I started my faith again. And he
Yeah.
said it changed things. And he said, so 6 years later, I'm a huge content. He's got branding, everything.
Uh-huh.
So he said, I looked at my friends that remained in that pattern, not eating well, not
Yeah.
exercising, not wanting to level up their game.
Mhm.
They're in the same place. Takeout food,
Yeah.
video games,
Yeah.
marijuana smoking, going out, drinking and partying. I mean, he's like, don't get me wrong. I love to go out, but he said,
Mhm.
I just upped my game. And he said, you know what it's like. You get into content creation and
Mhm.
you get into something and you don't want to, you're like, I don't want to socialize right now. But the
Uh-huh.
point
Yeah.
being is he was saying what's happening is too many parents are mollycoddling these kids and they're never really growing up. And in
Mhm.
reality, instead of going, hey, there's so much opportunity, they want
Mhm.
to depend on their parents, which he said,
Mhm.
and the DoorDash, have you ever ordered it? And I'm like, yeah, when I had my hip surgery, I look at the prices. I drove it during COVID because I was bored. So, but
Yeah.
tell me about are you an ambassador for Lululemon?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm a personal trainer and
Uh-huh.
then yoga instructor and then also life coach as well. I love doing like the holistic
Yeah.
integration of things because it's not just physical, it's not just mental, but it's
No.
like everything together. So I love that. And then and it's funny because Lululemon found me through my yoga classes. I teach at the studio in Midtown.
I'm not, I think
And
I went to that, but I usually go to uh, Yoga Pod.
oh, cool. Yeah, yeah. No, YogaPod's awesome. I know
Megan.
some of the instructors over there, and they're great. But yeah, they found me, and it was like four people that like routinely were showing up to my classes, and I
Mhm.
was, and they were probably later 20s, and so I
Mhm.
just thought like, oh, I got a cool group of people in my classes now that are regulars. Like this is great. Turns out they worked for Lululemon, and they were vetting me the entire time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, so they were stalking me basically. And
Yeah.
so they came up after one of my classes and they were like, "Hey, do you like Lululemon stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, I got the shorts on right now." And they
Mhm.
were like, "Hey, just come by the store and we'll talk." And that's all they said. And
That's
so
all.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
How many, didn't you get a whole bunch of clothes?
yeah, yeah. So like throughout the whole process, like, but to kind of like schmooze me, I guess they
Mhm.
gave me a whole bunch of stuff right off the bat, and they didn't say what it was for. And so I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, is this like a multi-level marketing scheme? Like, am I gonna get
Yeah.
jumped later? I have no idea what's going
Yeah.
on. And so,
Yeah.
but then they came back a couple of classes later, and then they were asking me about like community events and stuff like that. And then they asked me to be their ambassador. I was like, oh, that's what it was for. So it was
Yeah.
just so weird, like how I never really expected it, but they just found me. And
Mhm.
then from there, I signed on with them, and now we do community events, whether it's like stuff outside. We've done like sound baths outside. We've done yoga classes and training
Yeah.
events and just all types of stuff. So it's been really cool to be a part of something bigger and a brand that's like really trying to connect and get their finger on the pulse in the community and do some really cool
Yeah.
things in the community because that's what I'm about. Same.
What I want to do
Yeah.
is teach veterans I nobody believes that I was a meditation teacher, but then when they hear my meditations, they're like, what'd you
Uh-huh.
do? It's called yoga nidra and it's called yogic
Oh
sleep
yeah.
and it's
Hmm.
meant for veterans and there's you're getting in front of a clientele since I do health and Medicare and
Yeah.
all that. And
Yeah.
what a heart surgeon said to me is I met him and somebody
Hmm.
said, "Oh, Amy's a really good cook. She does all this stuff." And we just talked and he said, "I never would have told you to leave your cards if you said you were just an insurance." So he
Hmm.
said, "Because you engaged me with how much you knew, and I would
Yeah.
never have guessed that you were almost 200 pounds at one time." I said, "I was."
Yeah.
But
Wow.
but the thing is that I like your approach because a lot of people
Hmm.
are like, well, you do insurance. You can't just do insurance. Yeah, but selling medical insurance and you're going to engage your clients. A lot of my older clients go, can you come and look at my pantry and my fridge? And it's all full of
Yeah. Yeah.
it's packaged stuff. And I go, hey, don't feel bad. I do have packaged food pizza in there that I
Uh-huh.
once in a while, but it's not,
Yeah.
and a lot of moms don't know how, like, if you just get a slow cooker and you put the stuff in and
Mhm.
it's all, you come home and the kids are screaming, you don't have to prepare anything, you just throw
Mhm.
it on the plate, put some
Mhm.
vegetables there. You can simplify it, yet we want to complicate it. I don't know
Yeah.
why. And I think
Yeah.
that this goes back to parents listen to the kids' direction. It's like, no, when I grew up, I'm going to date myself, we couldn't leave the table until we finished everything.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
there were nights I literally my brother and I sat at the dinner table till 9 o'clock. But that would be considered abuse now. I don't know. I
Right.
just think we need a little bit more because I was talking, I grew up with a family and I was talking to this lady and I still call her Mrs. by Mrs. And
Uh-huh.
she goes, here's the problem. The kids had too much freedom. And
Mhm.
then they're insecure because they didn't know the pecking order. So
Mhm.
instead of like bucking up, they're used to just running amok and
Mhm.
it's nothing wrong with it. But then you see, I was a yoga teacher in schools and
Mhm.
some of the parents, they're hover over the kids and
Yeah. Man, that's actually that's really funny because that ties into something I do, something I talk about a lot with my life coaching clients. So I work with a lot of men
mhm,
specifically because I think, especially these days, a lot of men get mixed messages about masculinity,
mhm.
specifically, and like, okay, what is masculinity? You're hearing it's like toxic in some levels, or you're not getting any examples of it from another level, and so like a lot of men are confused. They're like, okay, what do I do? Like, what's my role in society? So I think the reason a lot of dudes are struggling for purpose and
Yeah,
direction and stuff like that, especially the kids as well, is because we used to live in societies where community was more like central from birth, right? Like literally took a village to raise a kid. And so as a boy, if you're, I don't know, working on a farm or something,
yeah,
you're around your uncles, you're around your grandfathers, you're around your dads and like your dad's friends. And men work best through like learning by osmosis, so
yeah.
you'll just watch somebody handle something and you're like, oh, that's how I do that, and now we just like stick people in classrooms and we just like shout information at them. But point is, I think community is like a really, really big part of that.
Well,
And
and
that goes
I I
into the
like that you
kids too.
mentioned that because that guy that has kind of helped me and he does really well. He
Mhm.
said community is really important. And he said you can build, he said that the possibilities on TikTok, on social
Mhm.
media are endless. And you can learn
Yeah.
from so many good people. And there's a lot of people that don't know what they're doing. But I
Yeah.
think too, um, I learned this from my first mentor in at Mass Mutual when I started in insurance. And
Mhm.
he was like in his 80s. And he said, there's a masculine and a feminine side to every male and female. And men sometimes think, oh, I can't do this. It's like a woman. Well,
Yeah.
what really turns a woman onto a man is that he
Mhm.
can have that feminine side, and vice versa with a woman that has a masculine side. I mean,
Mhm.
it and a lot of people, they do categorize and men can be very sensitive, but they're taught not to. Women are, you know,
Yeah.
I see it going with these young kids. I see it going back kind of to old school, meaning this guy
Mhm.
said, I'm gonna provide for a woman, but she's got to be godly and spiritual, and
Mhm.
I'm a traditionalist. You're seeing a break away from just the laissez-faire, like who cares?
Yeah, I think with any change in society, the pendulum it swings really, really slowly, like
Yeah.
once movements happen. And sometimes it like swings way over on the other side of the spectrum. And so like to use the masculine energy example, a lot of men were, like let's take like the World War II generation, like a lot of
Yeah.
those World War II vets, they were 19 years old and just flown out to another country, and they were like, hey, guess what, you're going to fight in this war. And so they tapped into like their fight response,
Yeah.
speaking of
Yeah.
nervous system stuff, they tapped into their fight response because they had to survive, right?
Hmm.
And that was a solution for the problems that were presented to them at that time. But what
Hmm.
happened is they then took that home and
Hmm.
all they knew was fight. And so you saw so much like literal spousal abuse or child abuse or drinking problems or things like that because they didn't know how to tap into the other side.
Mhm.
Then in like the 70s, you had kind of the new age guys that were like, hey, I don't want to be like dad. So
Mhm.
I'm going to go to the other side of the spectrum and really, really tap into my feminine side. But those guys didn't have boundaries. They didn't have backbones. They were kind of doormats in a sense. And so point is you need like both of those sides to help calibrate each other. Because
Yeah.
if you spend too much time just on one side, then it's like you're missing a whole bunch of the equation, and
Mhm.
it can become destructive if you don't have the other side to like balance it out.
Yeah. Well, you know what I really like
Uh-huh.
about doing yoga. I was a Bikram teacher and then I taught kids yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Bikram, that was crazy, but I've been doing
Oh,
yoga
that's
for
intense.
20.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's intense. Ugh.
Yeah.
I've been doing yoga for 23 years. And so I remember the first time I did Bikram yoga, I'm like, oh my God. And then I had to go back the next day because the feeling was
Mhm.
amazing. But
Yeah.
there were these young kids and they came to yoga with their mom, who's the principal at Minogue.
Okay.
And they played lacrosse, they looked in shape,
Hmm.
and the teacher Megan goes, "Now you're gonna look at these 50 something year old women that will be doing better than you. Just don't worry about it, right?" So
Hmm.
afterwards we sat and talked, and they're like, "Man, that was so hard." And I said, "Now do you understand? Don't you whenever you hear a guy
Uh-huh.
say yoga's for wimps, tell him about your
Yeah.
experience.
Oh God.
Because
Yeah.
the hot I like it just because today I do insurance and I was just like I got to go to noon class.
Hmm.
I love the hot yoga, but sometimes it's a little too hot. But
Yeah.
here was the point: is those guys were like, "Man, this is not for wimps." I go, "No,
Yeah.
no."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like
100%.
that there's a lot of men in the hot yoga. There's a
Uh-huh.
lot of men 50 and up that do hot yoga
Are
over.
there? Yeah.
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 So what
That's
is how many, where do you do personal training?
it's called Performance EDU. It's
Oh,
like over off of McCarran and Airway,
yeah.
and so it's
Okay.
kind of like down McCarran from Trader Joe's, so like kind of South Reno, kind of by the airport.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's interesting though because a lot of what I do, I was a baseball player. I played a couple low levels of professional baseball and played in college and stuff, and so
Where'd you go
the
to college?
mindset. I went to Jacksonville State out in
Oh,
Alabama, so
oh, okay.
talk about like a whole different experience of the American life. Like
Yeah,
living down south was insane. It was. I'm glad I had that experience, but I'm
yeah,
glad I'm back on the West Coast
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
So
I'm from Southern California, so anyway, so you played
okay,
baseball and then you did
yeah.
professional.
So I played baseball and like in training for that, it was just trying to like get as athletic as you can and build as much horsepower as you can and lift really heavy and stuff, which absolutely like is
Mhm.
beneficial. But what I do now is more like functional stuff for everyday life. So it's
Yeah,
mobility stuff. So there is strength training for sure. There's athletic training and sprinting and jumping and all those great things mixed in with mobility stuff. Because what happened is I got so bound up and like so tight from just all the lifting that I couldn't even get close to touching my toes, or I
yeah.
couldn't like
Well,
put
you,
my arms up over my head. And it's what I've come to realize in my 30s is like kind of like what you were talking about with the kids that were struggling with hot yoga
mhm.
is introducing myself to a bunch of different fitness modalities. So like I've done a couple tremble Pilates classes in the past year and like those completely kicked my ass,
Yeah,
like it's just
yeah.
a total different type of fitness, but it's like that has value or distance running has value or hiking or lifting. And so it's like doing everything that you can to be like a fully well-rounded person
Yeah,
instead of
well,
like just doing one thing.
could you tell in your class I had injuries for my hips?
Not there. Honestly, there were so many people in
Yeah,
class that I could see you doing little modifications and stuff.
yeah,
And so
yeah.
I, whenever I see people doing modifications, I know that they know their body well enough
Well, and
to
it
do
also
those. And
takes it
so
takes
yeah,
a couple years to really heal. I've had a lot of stuff, but I the yoga,
yeah,
even my surgeon is like, that's good. And then I have to go ride the bike tomorrow morning and in the
uh-huh.
infrared sauna. But I like your energy and how you combine
Mhm.
things. I work, you might want to look this guy, Erik Carlson. He was my trainer in LA. He's
Okay, cool,
he's on Instagram. He's amazing.
sweet,
And
yeah,
he got me to go from 185 to 137.
awesome,
Yeah,
cool.
you look him up. You guys could connect. I know you
Mhm.
might learn. He's been doing internet marketing. I met him. It was after I've known him 25 years and he's
Mhm.
such a nice guy. But I
Yeah,
like your energy and I like the fact, I mean, if you work out and eat right,
Mhm.
life isn't as complicated.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But
It's
when you don't, it's like, I mean, I went the other day and I was like, I feel like a chicken McNugget from McDonald's, and ugh. I mean, everyone's. I'm not. You can. Nobody can be perfect. I mean, you're
yeah,
gonna have
100%. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Handel's ice cream is really good. You know.
Oh, I love handles. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, talking about Italy, the gelato that I had, I think I
Oh
averaged like 2 giant cups of gelato per day. And I
yeah.
was like, you know what? I'm only in Italy. This is the first time I've ever been. I'm
Where,
letting myself enjoy this.
what part of Italy?
So flew into Rome and then went to Tuscany and then
Uh-huh.
went up north to the Dolomites after that. So I was in a bunch of different spots.
Oh
And
yeah, Italy.
believe me, I tested the gelato in every single spot.
Well, of course, yeah. Well, do you have anything that you want to add? Because what I will do is I will put in the description where how they people can reach
Mhm.
you. I've got your phone number. And is
Yeah.
there anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I think I mean the importance of community for sure, which is something that we're trying to do
Yeah.
with Lululemon, and I also with one of my high school classmates, I started a hiking club that's
Mhm.
called Reno Tahoe Adventure Club. So we do that, but just helping people realize the importance of like becoming a fully integrated human being,
Mhm.
and with the life coaching stuff especially that I do, it's about helping men cultivate a sense of healthy masculinity
Yeah.
and educating on them on what that even is, because
Mhm.
nobody really knows these days, it seems like. So that's what I'm putting my energy into a lot of now, is like trying to build community, and then especially trying to help men
Mhm.
that might feel lost or don't feel confident or any of those, feel lonely, any of those common
Well,
issues that males are facing.
I really like what you're saying because I'm going to start a community for cooking.
Awesome.
I have to get out there, do more go lives and say, would you guys
Yeah.
like a Zoom call? I've got to
Yeah.
be consistent. I'm consistent with
Uh,
everything, but I think that, a lot of people in the summer are like, no, that's a bad time. 4th of July is
yeah.
coming up. People are not, they're like, but it's good to just put the information out there. But I like that community because I know with my older clients that I do Medicare for, they like community and they like,
Yeah.
you know, they one lady said to me, it really makes my day when I go out and I take her to the bank, and I do have Jack in the Box tacos with her. I've been
Uh-huh.
eating since I was 5. But she
Yeah.
said it really makes my day, and then I take her to stuff. But it really
Yeah.
makes your day, their day, anybody's day when people do stuff, and they like the
Mhm.
community. But the older lady said it's the summer, you're not going to get the momentum you want,
Mhm.
because people are traveling or doing whatever. So
Yeah. No, yeah, I think we're social creatures and we're wired for connection, and
mhm.
it feels like, especially with social media these days, like we have the opportunity to be so connected. Like I could talk to my friend across the world, and
Mhm.
that's really cool, but we're more disconnected than ever
Yeah.
because we don't actually like hang out in person. It's just on your phone. And so like getting people together in person, I think is just like so important.
And I think people need to take the time to get out into nature. Like, I'm not going to go near Tahoe for a couple weeks because it's bad.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I take my labs up there, but I think, and people don't realize that grounding is so good for you if you walk barefoot. And a lot
Yeah.
of times, if you make gratitude lists and that kind of thing, and
Mhm.
you just you got to incorporate a lot of different things. But the most important thing is that I have been through depression before, and
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
really bad. And
Mhm.
it was all due to hormonal changes. I didn't know what was going on with me. And
Mhm.
but what got me out of it was gratitude, cooking, that kind of thing. And that's why I
Mhm.
gravitated. And then I started reading like your nutrition, your state of mind is related to your nutrition as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, your nervous system like literally controls everything. And so if it's not recharging, if it's not
Hmm.
getting an opportunity to actually rest and digest, like you're gonna be stressed as hell. You're gonna be sad, you're gonna like be anxious and you don't know why. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I love grounding too. That's one of my favorite things to do. But yeah, nature, like it has everything you need to
Yeah.
to help get out of those states.
Yeah. And a lot of times I think we get too caught up in things and that kind of thing. So anyway.
Yeah. Yeah,
All
no,
right.
100%. This was so fun. This
Yeah,
was
it was
great.
super fun. And I'm going to probably interview Eric, and then I've got a lot of people.
Okay.
But, nutrition and positive state of mind are key.
Uh-huh.
So
Oh, 100%. And we need more of that more than ever now.
yeah, for sure. All right, well, I'll be in touch. And you spell your name Erik, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. With a K.
Okay, I will put all
Yep.
that. You can you have my email. Just email
Yep.
me what you want me to put. I know the
Okay.
descriptions can get, but
Awesome.
I have to save the Zoom and then upload it. So
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right.
Perfect. Yeah.
Well, you
Thank
were
you, Amy. This
awesome.
is super fun.
It was super fun. And I'll come
Yeah.
to another one of your yoga classes.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. And let's do this again sometime.
All right, perfect. Thanks, Eric. Have an
All right.
awesome night.
See you.
Bye.